And my poor Sierra and Hank. And Lily. Oh, he's going to take her away for another whole year?
Then we must simply put our heads together and find a way to stop the newlyweds from leaving town, that's all. And you know, I have a good feeling about this new uprising in Montego. God willing, you'll have news of Sierra very soon. But as for that husband of yours, I think the man is a lout, and I think you should get rid of him at the first possible opportunity. I mean, his heart must be made of stone if he can stay away from you. But your heart's made of fire, isn't it? Fire. Do you really think we should waste all that warmth, hmm? All that passion?
You're keeping you awake all night.
Did you get any sleep at all?
I keep rehashing the day, walking into Julie's, seeing Andrew half naked with an earring. Hearing me tell, saying he loves Julie, seeing at Kim's afterwards.
Well, if it'll help to talk about it.
No, I just go on and on and on. I keep you awake all night long. Maybe the best thing would be for me just to head on over to the executive club.
What?
Well, yeah.
What are you doing? I don't want you to go anywhere. Come on. Let's just help each other through the night, hmm? Wow.
Well, what?
Well, if you don't know, who was that guy who swept me off my feet the minute I walked in the door? I barely had a chance to say hello to you.
Oh, that was the guy who wanted to prove how happy he is to be here, waiting for you to come home to him. That's who it was.
He doesn't have to prove anything to me. I'm just as happy as he is. You better get some sleep.
Don't waste time sleeping.
Because I don't want you to crash during your classes tomorrow. Today!
Today is the first day in the rest of my life. And what a life.
Well, there's still no answer to either one of those numbers.
Well, it doesn't make any sense. I'm sure Karen flew back to New York yesterday. She's got to be at her apartment or mine.
Why would she fly back to New York, leaving her motel room in a shambles, not to mention personal articles like her overnight case, a monogrammed hairbrush, your picture?
I gave that to her Christmas a year ago.
Did Karen love Derek? You say she was a business associate?
Yes, for more than 2 years.
And she was in Oakdale to firm up a deal? That's why you went to her motel room twice yesterday?
That's right, once at 9:30 and again at 12:30.
The motel manager recognized your picture. He remembers you being there because he says that you and Miss Barnes seemed to be arguing when he passed the
Detective
room.
Munson, Karen was valuable to me as a business associate for the very reason that she didn't always agree with me.
I noticed you used the past tense there.
I didn't mean to.
The last time you saw her was at your cottage on River Road.
That's right. She came to say goodbye. My father drove her back to town. You can check that out with him.
Thank you. We will. You say you spent the rest of the afternoon and the evening with your wife preparing for an extended trip to Europe?
Yes, look, we've already been over all this. Can I please leave?
I'd like to give those numbers another try first.
Can I talk to my wife?
By all means.
Thank you.
You go home now.
Not yet.
I don't understand all this. What's happened to Karen?
I have no idea.
Derek, what's wrong?
As the world turns. This portion brought to you today by the dentist's choice for fighting cavities, Crest with Floristat.
Baby, you gotta get some sleep. I gotta face the facts here that you and I are on different schedules now, and I don't want you walking around like a zombie, because I'll feel guilty about it.
Don't.
Andrew, if you ever decide that you made a mistake, it's okay.
Julie? Whoa. Where'd that come from? There's no mistake. I'm right where I want to be. Unless you feel you've changed your mind.
No. I just know how close you are to your family. It must have been nice living right next door to him.
Well, it's not like we're a million miles away now. Besides, it's for the best.
Well, maybe you feel that way now. But if you work things out with your folks, you may want to move back. And if you do, I'll understand.
Julie, I want to live with you. Are you sure you want to live with me?
Yes. Even if you do eat peanut butter and celery in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Good. That's all settled.
Good. Can we get some sleep now?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh. Oh.
Ow. Good night.
Andrew, are you doing this to get even with me for putting Julie down? Believe me, it's not worth throwing away your whole future.
Is there no way that you can think of that we can change their minds about going away?
Let me put it this way. I think probably we could change Lily's mind, but Derek is headstrong. It's landed him in trouble on more than one occasion.
Trouble? What kind?
Oh, it's hardly relevant. Yeah, I really shouldn't have brought it up.
No, please.
Well, I was thinking about one particular incident when Derek was about 19. He had met a girl on the beach that summer. Beautiful young creature, not unlike Lily. Well, one night, for the fun of it, they decided to go slumming at the local bistros. A young French lad made a pass at the girl, and Derek put him into hospital. It was all I could do to keep him out of prison.
Good Lord.
I suspect there have been many other instances of this, but he doesn't confide in me. I really mustn't trouble you with all this family history, you know.
But he's married to my little girl.
And he obviously adores her. Look, I only mention that as an example of Derek's nature and his temper. But the last thing I intended was to add to your troubles, dear lady. Now, I really think you should get some sleep. You know, if you say the word, I can help you get through the night.
I don't understand why they're keeping you here. You only saw Karen briefly at the cottage.
Oh, I wish that were true. Lily.
You lied to me.
I was trying to get her out of town since it was over between her and me. I didn't think it was important that I tell you.
When did you see her?
Twice. Once in the morning and then again at midday.
Twice.
There were details to be tied up about the business agreement, and she was making things difficult, and I didn't want to hurt you anymore. That's the only reason I wasn't honest with you, I swear.
Derek, is there anything else that you're keeping from me?
No. Nothing. There's still no record of a Miss Barnes leaving Oakdale yesterday.
Of course, I guess she could have used another name, but why? I don't know, Jeff. I'm getting a bad feeling about this one.
Derek Mason, any help?
No, not really. According to him, the last time he saw her was at his place. Derek says that his father took her back to the motel room, then he spent the rest of the afternoon and evening with his wife.
He said that?
Yeah, why? You no different?
Well, maybe it's just a misunderstanding, but I ran into Lily last night down by the river, about 6:30. I gather she and Derek had some sort of a disagreement. She was pretty upset.
Oh, yeah? Lily, mind if I ask you something?
No.
Where were you yesterday afternoon and evening?
I was at the cottage, but I went for a walk a little bit after 6.
Did your husband go with you?
No.
And how long were you gone?
I'd say a little over an hour. You can check with my mother on that. I called her when I got back, and then Derek came home.
I went for a drive.
Did anybody see you?
No.
You didn't stop for gas, stop at a store to pick something up, anything
No.
like that?
No, I went for a drive alone. Look, to be honest, I knew that Lily was upset with me and I needed some time alone. Look, now I came down here because my business associate is missing and I end up getting the 3rd degree. What's going on?
To hell with it. To hell with it.
They lied when they said things look better in the morning, didn't they?
Well, it's just whoever dreamed that up didn't count on someone not getting a very good night's sleep the night before. Every time I close my eyes, I think this kind of nightmare that I was in this kind of really, it's like a chapel, you know, when you get married, really tawdry, seedy joint, like in Las Vegas someplace, like where Lucinda and I got married. Only there's Andrew and Julie. Julie has the gall to be in white, and Andrew he's dressed up really nice. He really looks sharp, except he's got an earring on, one of those rhinestone things down to here. And they get to the part in the ceremony where the pastor or the minister or whatever he is, he says, does anybody have any objections? Speak now, forever hold your peace. And I'm jumping up and down, I'm raising my hand, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, and nobody is paying any attention to me. So, what else is new?
John, do you remember your first love affair?
What kind of question is that?
No, come on. Really. I bet you do. And I bet it was pretty intense. And I bet that after a while, it just burned itself out. Didn't it?
You're saying I should just sit around and I watched my boy let this bimbo ruin his life, or...
Oh, what are your options?
Oh, come on. Even Duke needed you to see through Julie.
Okay, well, Andy'll have you. You'll be there for him when the time comes.
But he doesn't seem to want me. That's just it. He's cutting himself off to everyone except Julie. And she's taking advantage of his raging hormones. He's just a kid, you know?
No, he isn't. He's mature. I mean, he's not as experienced as Duke, but he is mature and he's intelligent. He's intelligent enough to deal with Julie on his own. He doesn't need any pressure from you.
So I sit back and I watch him make a mistake that may influence the rest of his life?
Tell me about it. I mean, I'm still trying to figure that one out with Emily. There.
How did you do that?
You know, you're really going to spoil me, escorting me to work this way.
Well, I thought you could use a little extra TLC this morning.
You did.
Well, I see you're not the only one getting extra moral support. Good morning, Mr. DA. I see you brought your fan club with you.
Well, actually, this man has to go on to work, so I'm going to have to watch the tape in order to see my wonderful husband, Cream Ross Sturgis.
I'll settle for holding my own. He is no pushover, honey.
Well, I'm going to run a unofficial poll in the nurses' lounge.
Morning.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, good morning.
Tom, hi.
Good morning. Nice to see you.
I had everything I could do to persuade Carrie to go to class this morning. Had no idea your show was so popular with the college crowd, Mrs. Hughes.
Thank you. Oh, please call me Kim. You know my husband, of course.
Oh, sure, Mr. Sturgis.
And Margot, Tom's wife.
How are you?
Nice to meet you. Yes. Well, it certainly looks like a family event. Surprised Andy isn't here.
Well, he'll watch it later on videotape at home.
And makeup's ready for Mr. Sturgis. Mr. Hughes, please.
Gentlemen.
Okay.
Knocking dinner.
Oh, honey.
Yeah?
Dead man came.
I am more nervous than Tom is. How are you holding up?
Oh. Well, actually, I've had better days.
Well, for what it's worth, Leanne told me that she really thinks that Julie cares a lot about Andy.
I hope she's right. I hope she does. But given Julie's past record, I think there's little comfort in that.
Sorry.
Kim?
Yeah.
Phone call from Andy?
Oh, excuse me.
Sure, Mom.
Andy?
Mom, I just wanted to wish you luck. I know this is going to be a tough one.
Oh, Well, thanks very much for calling. You think you're going to be able to watch it?
Sure, we'll be watching.
Oh. Good. Son, about that lunch invitation, that still stands.
All the same, Mom, I think it's too soon, but thank you.
Honey, the door is always open. You remember that.
Thanks. I gotta go. Hey, break a leg.
Right. Thanks for calling. Bye.
Everything okay?
You called to wish me good luck. That's kind of a good sign, don't you think?
You bet.
Okay, so I'll stop at the hospital on my way home and get your feedback.
My wife and my son on the same show? How can you miss?
That's exactly what I'm afraid of. I really am. I mean, if there are any partisan sentiments, we're going to be in for a lot of criticism.
Lucinda, I'm going to moderate the show, not endorse the candidates, I promise.
I gotta get to work.
Okay, honey.
Nice to see you.
Bye, good day.
Bye.
Personally, Kim, I wouldn't mind if Mr. Sturgis fell flat on the floor without it looking as if anybody had pulled the rug out from him. I tried. Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Nice that you could share some time with us. I'm so pleased. I suppose you know that I've been absolved of any wrongdoing in this Stenbeck case. I just wanted to mention it to you, so there's no point in bringing any of that up. I'm thinking of your law firm and them wanting to retain you should you lose the election.
Oh. Is that a threat, Mrs. Dixon?
No. It's just an observation.
Well, I'll certainly keep it in mind.
Mr. Sturgis.
Excuse me.
Lucinda?
Hi.
Very well.
I do? Oh, thank you. Well, I saw your father yesterday.
Oh.
He didn't seem to think I looked so good. Maybe I have to be dead for him. Well, you get a compliment and you lose it. He was understanding about the Stenbeck business.
Good.
In person.
He's going through a lot right now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so am I.
This really doesn't have anything to do with you. So maybe you should give him a little space. So.
What is it?
Oh, we're getting ready to tape, and I'm not going to get caught in this. I've got to go to work. Bye-bye.
Miss Dixon, they're waiting for you in the control room.
All right, gentlemen, everybody make yourself comfortable. We want this to be informative, but keep it relaxed. Here we go.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning. I'm Kim Hughes. Welcome to Patterns. This morning, we're coming to you live so that we can present the two candidates for district attorney. On my left, we have the incumbent, Mr. Tom Hughes, and on my right, his opponent, Mr. Ross Sturgis. Gentlemen, I'm going to ask each of you to make a brief opening statement, and then we'll move on into an informal debate. Ross, I think you did win the toss of the coin. Would you like to begin?
Well, thank you, Kim. It's a pleasure to be here. I know elected officials make a lot of promises, and they don't always keep them. That's why I'm only making two clear, straightforward promises to the people of Oakdale. I will maintain law and order in our community. And second, I pledge to serve all the people without regard to special interests or favoritism. Now, I'm sure my opponent, the DA, will tell you that he agrees with those principles.
Yes, I do.
But does he really? Currently, there's a very important homicide investigation taking place, in which the district attorney's wife is a police officer in charge.
Excuse me just one moment.
Oh, Thomas, I'm sorry. I have to remind you that Ross has the floor. You will have your opportunity.
Furthermore, the DA's grandmother happens to be married to the head of homicide. And even more curious, the DA's father-in-law is married to a woman who shielded the notorious James Stenbeck during the weeks before his murder. This woman has never even been prosecuted. But then this woman is backing DA Hughes' re-election campaign. She owns his TV station, as well as a very influential local newspaper. Now, I'm not implying anything, but it does seem curious to me that under District Attorney Hughes' regime, law and order, if not actual justice, has certainly been a family affair.
No, operator, never mind. Just please leave a message for Niles Mason and tell him to call his son as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Morning. I woke up and you weren't there.
Our bags are packed. Let's get out of here right now.
Without finding out what happened to Karen?
I told the police everything I know. What else am I supposed to do?
Derek, where'd you go last night when I was taking a walk?
Great, great. I spent all night getting the 3rd degree from the police, and now my wife is hounding me, too.
Just want to understand, that's all.
Let's get out of here and never come back.
Wait, Hal Munson asked you not to leave. Remember that?
It's only a request, and I don't care!
Yeah, nobody picked up a woman of Miss Barnes' description yesterday at the Yardley Motel. There's Mr. Mason and his daughter.
Jeff, get up some coffee or something. We need a minute.
Sure. 50 months and he'll be right with you.
You know, we're not accustomed to being summoned to a police station.
I'm very sorry. Your son's business associate, Karen Barnes, is missing.
Missing? Is there a phone I could use, please?
Sure, right out in the hall.
Thank you.
They had Derek here until after 3. Lucky for me, I ran into Lily last night down by the river, shot his alibi all to hell.
Well, he certainly couldn't admit to being with us, could he?
Maybe we've done our job too well. If he's under suspicion and then something happens to Lily, will they let him inherit?
Karen will be found.
But then she'll point the finger at you.
I've already made the arrangements. Karen will have an accident in Italy. When the authorities learn of her death overseas, Derek will be in the clear. This, of course, will be after Lily's out of the picture.
Wait, well, what if Derek won't take the money? What if he squeals? What?
Don't be so foolish. Do you think I don't know my son? Enough cold, hard cash will go a long way to assuage his grief. And the very thought of prison will be enough to make him hold his tongue. Now, our problem is how do we keep him out of commission until everything's in place?
Yeah, right. Because at this point, there's no hard evidence against him.
Then perhaps we should manufacture some hard evidence.
Daddy, I told Lily we would drop by.
Appreciate your cooperating with us.
Hello, I'm Detective Munson. I guess that Officer Dolan has informed you that we are looking for Miss Karen Barnes, who disappeared from the Yardley Motel sometime yesterday afternoon.
Good Lord, it was me that drove her back to the hotel. That must have been around, what, 2:30?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see or speak to her after that time?
No. No, she said she was going to pack and fly straight back to New York. Do you think something happened to her?
I understand that Miss Barnes was a business associate of your son's for 2 years, Mr. Mason. In your opinion, was it strictly a professional relationship?
We'll continue with part 2 of As the World Turns in just a moment. And now part 2 of As the World Turns.
You think about your kids a lot?
Mm-hmm. Getting to know your family makes me wish I'd been a better mother.
I'll bet you were okay.
No, not really. I guess having kids so young made me kind of resent them. They always seem to get in the way of my having fun.
You got any photos of them?
Are you really interested?
Yeah, I'm interested in everything about you. I wish my mom and my dad could see you the way I see you.
Oh, my gosh, your mother's show is on.
Oh, no, it's going to be over. Hurry up.
Wait a minute, Ross. Now, your point is that Lucinda Walsh-Dixon is a contributor to Tom Hughes' campaign?
My point is that Miss Walsh-Dixon backed Tom Hughes' campaign after he decided not to prosecute her for aiding and abetting a known criminal.
Are you insinuating in some
I'm stating facts.
Then I would like to state some facts to the audience, if I may. The reason Mrs. Walsh-Dixon was not charged has nothing to do with her position in the community, nor the fact that she may or may not be backing my campaign. She had reason to believe that her eldest daughter was being held by James Stenbeck and was told she would be killed if she did not comply. I did not view these actions as criminal, rather a desperate attempt to get her daughter back.
That's a rather sentimental interpretation of the law.
Compassion is not the same as sentiment. If justice is not tempered with compassion, I believe we all suffer.
Gentlemen, we have just a few minutes left. Would you each like to make a closing statement?
If you don't mind, I'm not quite finished with my point.
Okay, that'll be your closing statement then.
Ross, if your daughter were threatened by James Stenbeck, would you adhere to every line of the law and risk her life? I think it's fine that we sit here and talk abstractly about the law, but it is a different story when human beings are involved. As district attorney, I've tried to be ever mindful that there are human beings involved, and I include myself in being human. That is why I've disqualified myself from the Stenbeck case. I have known Paul Stenbeck all of his life, and I feel that I cannot be objective.
Ah, and were you objective when you convicted his mother, Barbara Ryan?
Excuse me, I have to remind you, no cross-questioning during closing statements. You will have your opportunity.
If you don't mind, I'd like to field that question.
Your choice.
No, I was not objective enough. I should have disqualified myself, and I sit here to prove to you that this will not happen again. If Ross Sturgis is elected district attorney, I would hope he would keep that in mind if he were to become personally involved in a case. As district attorney, my priorities have been and will continue to be justice tempered with compassion and equality before the law. I thank you.
Tom, thank you very much. Ross, your closing statement.
Interesting that Mr. Hughes brought up priorities, because I believe he has his priorities a bit backwards. There's a reason justice is always pictured as being blindfolded. Justice is supposed to be objective, which Mr. Hughes has admitted that he was not on at least one occasion. Justice is supposed to be impartial. What Mr. Hughes so eloquently explained, he's human. Well, it seems he's not the only one. I've since learned that the gun used to kill James Stenbeck is a police officer issue revolver belonging to the district attorney's wife's partner, who is now married to James Stenbeck's ex-wife. And the same police officer was actively involved in investigating the Stenbeck murder.
And that officer has been taken off the case.
Who? By who? You or State Attorney William Hastings? No, allowing your personal reasons to get involved with a case to affect your decisions is one thing. I submit that had you not disqualified yourself, Hughes, the governor might have done it for you. I'm hearing the word whitewash.
Not from the governor, you're not, and not from Bill Hastings. There is no whitewash. There will be no whitewash.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry we've come to the end of our time. I want to thank you both for joining us. Well, now you have met the two candidates. It's up to you to go out and vote. We'll see you next week on Patterns.
Okay, that's a wrap. Thank you all very much, folks.
Thank you. Woo-hoo. That was interesting, wasn't it? Thank you both for coming.
And thank you for being completely objective. Maybe she should run for district attorney.
She would make a good one. She's both objective and compassionate.
Thank you.
Well, I think the public's getting tired of compassion being shown to those that break the law.
Well, if they're tired of justice being tempered with compassion, they should hire a computer to do the prosecuting then. Let's just see what happens on Election Day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What difference does it make that I'm married to a head of homicide? Anyway, I'm just glad Dan didn't see that show. His blood pressure is far too high already. Bob, I'm worried about him. He's not getting nearly enough rest. He's living on coffee and takeout food.
When's the last time he saw his doctor?
What doctor? You were always able to make your father take good care of himself, but I can't even get Dan to go to have a routine checkup. It's almost as if he were afraid. Would you talk to him?
Well, sure, Mom. I'll give it a try. You know, we haven't been seeing too much of you and Mac lately.
No, I know. I miss our family dinners, too, checking up on everybody's news. How, by the way, does Andy feel about being a fine arts major?
Well, actually, we haven't seen very much of Andy these days.
No, I guess he's spending a lot of time with his new girlfriend. So. Welcome back, John. Were you able to see David in Atlanta?
As a matter of fact, I did. He gave a wonderful speech there at the end of the conference. It was very inspiring.
Good. Well, I'm on my way to try to persuade my husband to give up law and order for a few minutes and come home and have a good home-cooked lunch with me.
So long, Ma.
She obviously doesn't know about Andy and Julie, huh?
John, she has other things on her mind.
John.
Thanks. I got to get together with Kim. We got to decide what we're going to do about this thing.
Well, she said she was coming over here after the show. I'll tell her you want to see her.
Thanks.
I got to get back to work.
Don't even think about it.
Well, you read my mind. I think I ought to get a medal for self-restraint. I didn't hunt Julie down and strangle her to death.
Well, I think it's a little early for medals.
Mm-hmm.
Susan, do you think I could have a word with my husband? Excuse me.
Wait, hold on.
No, I have to check on a patient, honest.
So, what do you want?
I have a solution to everything.
What?
You and me, darling. We just get out of town. We
please.
go someplace together. We put everything behind us. We put Julie business behind us.
You know, that's very easy for you to say, isn't it? She's got her claws into Andrew now.
What? What do you mean? Didn't you tell Andy about
Of course I told him. Duke told him, too. What difference does it make? He thinks the sun rises and sets on this
that? Oh, darling, what can I do?
Nothing, okay?
Yes?
It's enough of a disaster already. I've got it all over my hands. You brought her here. Thank you very much.
Oh,
I won't
John.
forget that.
Okay, so you want celery and peanut butter, and what else do you like?
We're sharing expenses, and that includes the rent.
Look, I am the one who's working,
I've got
so
tons of money saved up for my summer job. My tuition is paid through this semester, and then maybe I'll take next semester off. I'm just not taking any more money from my dad, you know? I'll get that. I don't want you to have to deal with anybody.
Hi. How are you? Can I come in?
Yeah.
Great.
You know Julie?
Hey, Julie.
Hi.
Margot, I hope Dad didn't put you up to this.
No. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start off by telling you why I'm not here. I'm not here to pass judgment on Julie, and I'm not here to pass judgment on the fact that you guys have moved in together, okay?
Maybe I...
No, you stay, please.
Julie.
I'd like to talk to both of you. Okay. First of all, I want you to know that I really understand what it's like to care about somebody. So much so that you have to be with them no matter what. I understand that. But if a relationship starts to hurt other people, it only ends up hurting itself. Now, Tom and I went by the studio, and your mom's hurting. And so is Dad.
Dad's not hurting.
Yes, he
No,
is.
he's not. He's angry. He's angry because he wants to run my life. That's why.
You don't know, you know John better than that. You know perfectly well when he feels something so deeply, he can't express it. And just sits there and festers, and then he blows up, and he blows up at you, and he blows up at me, too.
I don't care what he says to me, but he better leave Julie alone. I'm sorry if I upset them. I didn't do this to hurt them.
I know.
And they gotta accept us, me and Julie, because that's the way it's gonna be.
I've always loved your sonnets. Best, Karen.
Really? What are you doing with that? Damn Karen anyway. We ought to be halfway to Europe by now.
I can't blame Karen for that.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if she arranged her own little disappearance to get back at me.
Would she be that vindictive?
Remember, this is a woman who sent this as a wedding present. Damn!
No way that I can get away. Our switchboard, it lit up like a Christmas tree after Kim's show. I mean, everybody was asking about the so-called whitewash. Our state's attorney is fit to be tied.
Then you cannot keep pushing yourself this way.
Sweetheart, stop worrying about me. I work best under pressure. I always have.
Now. Hi, Graham. Hello, dear.
News.
How are you? What? Yes, sir.
Bill Hastings is waiting to talk to you.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do for you, Mr. State Attorney?
The night Stenbeck was murdered, I'll dismiss the officer who'd been assigned to protect...
Yes, Officer Hansen got the feeling that called her a hot date and didn't want to be tailed. As it turns out, it wasn't really a hot date. It just was dinner with Emily.
I keep thinking about the flowers Paul wrapped in Stuart and the expensive watch she was planning to give him. Maybe there's something going on there.
With all due respect, sir, James Stenbeck really put them through the ringer, and I think that they were just drawn closer together.
Besides, you know, she's currently involved with a man from Chicago.
That's right. I mean, that's not to say that Paul didn't have a crush on Emily, but I really think that's about as far as it goes.
Listen, I really don't have much to tell you, Mr. Crawford.
Look, when a young lady disappears from my motel like that, it is not good for business.
Well, listen, so far there's no sign of foul play. She might have just decided to spend the night somewhere else. She'll come back, she'll pick up her things, she'll pay the damn bill.
Oh, maybe,
okay?
but it's almost 11. Checkout time is noon. You know, we asked for credit cards in advance. The lady was using a credit card issued to Derek Mason.
May I have that, Mr. Crawford?
Yes, Hal. Hold on. Derek! Hal Munson.
What is it now?
Did you know Karen Barnes was using her credit card?
Yes, for business expenses. Look, Hal, might I suggest that you call her parents in Michigan? She usually lets them know where she is in case of an emergency.
Do you have that number?
Yes, it's in my address book, which is packed, and if you'll give me a minute, I will call you back once I've found it. Goodbye.
Good morning, Derek. Oh, couldn't have been anything I said.
Well, he's upset because Karen Barnes, she's disappeared. Karen Barnes, she's disappeared. We were at the police station till 3 o'clock in the morning last night. Yeah. Well, the reason he's really upset is because he had planned on leaving for Europe last night.
Last night? You were going to walk without telling me?
We were going to call you when we got to London.
What is the matter with that boy? What is he running away from?
Why would you say that?
Well, it's obvious, darling. I mean, he's letting his business go. He's letting his friends, his family. He doesn't care. He's trying to whisk you off in the middle of the night. And Niles told me something that chilled my heart last night about his temper. Did you know that he put some French sailor in the hospital? Yes. That violent a temper. We don't know what that kind of thing is going to lead to.
Excuse me.
Oh.
I have to help Derek find the address book.
Hello, Lucinda.
Hi. Where's Derek? He went that way, dear. Good morning.
Oh, dear. You know, I thought about you most last night. Oh. Tell me something. What is it that John does to deserve such loyalty?
I don't know. I really don't. It's just that when he comes back to me, and I think he will, and we're together, I will be able to say that I was true.
Well, you'll make him pay for his indiscretions, will you? It is ironic, you know. Here I am, free of the past. Here you are, a faithful wife. You know, we are what might have been.
Well, you're back. Now listen to me. I don't want you taking my daughter away in the middle of the night without calling me first so that I can talk you out of it.
Lucinda, I'm tired of taking orders from you or anyone else.
What did Lucinda want?
Oh, who knows? She's the one who brought this Julie to Oakdale in the first place. God.
There he is, John. We've been looking for.
Oh, yes.
Hi.
How you doing?
Well, I'm okay. Andy called me at the studio today to wish me good luck. But he's still very defensive about Julie.
Well, I don't know what to do. I mean, what, I got to tell him how I feel about the thing. I don't want to lie to the kid. I'd like to run her out of town on a rail, I tell you.
Uh-oh. Hello, Mrs. Hughes. Dr. Hughes? If you'll excuse us, I'd like to speak to Dr. Dixon.
I thought you could use some tea. Where's your mother?
Oh, she said she had something to take care of, but I know that she's just upset about our trip.
Well, I think it's a terrific idea for you and Derek to get away for a while.
So do I. Something's happened, Trish, and I don't know if I know my husband, really. Last night, he said he wanted to give me my freedom.
What?
That was after he told me he had an affair with Karen Barnes.
Well, I suspected that, but Lily, that was before he met you. And I know this has to hurt you a little right now, but I also know that Derek loves you very, very much.
I believe that. I have to believe that. That's why I wouldn't even listen to him last night. So he went inside to pack and he said we had to leave immediately in the middle of the night.
Lily, are you afraid that Derek knows what happened to Karen?
Oh, where's Niles?
He's walking Lucinda to her car.
Oh, would you like some tea?
Yes, I'd love a nice cup of tea.
Let me help you.
It's not gonna work.
What is not
Set up with Karen to keep us from leaving.
My dear boy, if I wanted to implicate you, would I lie to the police about the nature of your relationship with Karen? You know, if you push me far enough, I'll... You what? What will you do? Huh? Oh, you did go to the police? You tell them everything? Will you? That you married Lily for her money? That you conspired to kill her? That you plotted to take her life? Until he went soft, until he went mushy. No, Derek, I can't think even you are that stupid.
You know, I hate to do this, but I have to agree with Hastings. Why would Paul dismiss Officer Hanson? You know, when he knew his father was in town, he said he wanted to protect Emily. I mean, he went so far as to bring Hal's gun to her a week ago. Unless he actually brought her the gun that night.
What are you getting at?
Well, what if Paul knew that James was going to be at Emily's? What if he decided to take the law in his own hands?
Well, you saw him right after the incident. You said he was in shock. Do you think it was all an act?
No. No, you're right. There's some pieces missing. My gut instinct tells me that piece is missing. I just hope Paul isn't holding something back that could boomerang at the grand jury tomorrow.
Still no answer at Karen Barnes' house.
Oh, I guess we keep trying.
Well, I played a long shot. I realized that Karen Barnes' motel room must have been cleaned sometime during her stay there, so I checked the dumpster out back. Found it's on her personal stationery, and she never finished it.
Well, let's get Derek Mason down here for further questioning right away.
Stay tuned for Guiding Light, next on most of these CBS stations. Fashions by Betsy Johnson. Join us tomorrow for As the World Turns.
This is CBS.